Hello everyone, welcome back. So, 5 reasons the Super Mario Galaxy movie's Rotten Tomato score is lower than the first film. Early reaction to the Super Mario Galaxy movie haven't exactly been glowing. After the review embargo lifted just a day before release, a move that often signals a lack of studio confidence, the sequel debuted with a noticeably weaker critical response. At the time of writing, the film holds a 44% score on Rotten Tomatoes, a clear drop from the original Super Mario Bros., which landed at 59%. While audience reaction could still skew more positive, critics have largely pointed out to familiar issues, many of which were already present in the first film, but feel even more pronounced this time around. So, what exactly went wrong? Here are 5 biggest reasons behind the sequel's lower score. 5. An overcrowded cast that lacks focus. One of the most common criticism is the film's overstuffed roster of characters. The sequel brings back core figures like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Todd, Bowser, but then piles on new additions like Yoshi, Rosalina, Bowser Jr., Fox McCloud. That's a massive lineup for a relatively short runtime, and according to many critics, the film simply can't do justice to all of them. Instead of building meaningful dynamics, the movie rushes through interactions. Even major characters like Rosalina, central to the Galaxy games, feel underutilized, and despite being key to the plot, the result a crowded story where no one truly stands out. For a thin, underdeveloped story, another major complaint is the film's lack of strong, cohesive narrative. On paper, the premise is simple: rescue Rosalina from Bowser Jr., but the execution feels scattered. The story jumps from one set piece to another without building momentum or emotional stakes. Even more positive reviews acknowledge this issue, describing the plot as thin, overwhelmed, lacking a memorable story. Some critics went further, arguing the films prioritize showcasing Nintendo IP over telling a compelling narrative, resulting in a story that feels more like a loose framework than a fully realized arc. Mario isn't in the focus of his own movie. Surprisingly, one of the biggest drawback is how Mario himself is handled. Despite being the face of the franchise, Mario takes something of a backseat in the sequel. With so many characters competing for screen time, his role feels diminished. Critics noted that Mario and Luigi often feel like supporting characters. Their arcs lack meaningful growth. Mario, in particular, is less impactful than in the first film. This shift might have worked if the new characters fill the gap, but since they are also underdeveloped, the film ends up lacking a strong central anchor. The humor doesn't land consistently. Comedy was one of the successful elements of the first movie, but here it's far more hit or miss. While the sequel is packed with jokes, many critics felt that the humor doesn't land as often. Memorable comedic moments are surprisingly rare. Some jokes feel repetitive or uninspired. That said, this is one area where opinions vary more widely. Some viewers may still enjoy the light-hearted tone and fast-paced gags, but overall the comedic impact doesn't seem to match the original. Then too much reliance on Easter eggs and fan service. If there's one universal takeaway is this movie is overflowing with Easter eggs, from deep-cut Nintendo references to surprise character cameos. The Super Mario Galaxy movie constantly throws familiar elements at the audience. For hardcore fans, this can be exciting, but for critics, it often feels excessive. Many describe the experience as constantly spotting references rather than engaging with the story. Moments that exist purely for recognition, not narrative purpose. Even these references are fun, like Fox McCloud's appearance, they often feel disconnected from the plot. Some critics argue that the film's biggest flaw is its over reliance on nostalgia, using it nostalgia, using it as a substitute for storytelling rather than a complement to it. So, final thoughts: ultimately, the Super Mario Galaxy movie suffers from a combination of familiar issues. Too many characters, weak story, lack of focus on its main hero, inconsistent humor, heavy reliance on fan service. What's most surprising is that this problem exists. It's like they feel like an escalation of the first film flaws rather than an improvement. That said, the movie is still expected to perform well at the box office, proving that audience enjoyment and critical reception don't always align. The real question now is whether a third installment will learn from this criticism or continue leaning into the same formula. Either way, Nintendo Cinematic Universe isn't slowing down anytime soon. That's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.